Hey everyone, my name is Samantha Schmidt, and I'm going to be your instructor for Introduction to Business. Welcome to the course. You guys have chosen an accelerated course, right? So we're fitting about 18 weeks of material into 8 weeks. Please be prepared to spend anywhere from 9 to 12, 15 hours a week on this class. That includes your reading, PowerPoints, and all of your assignments. All right. I'm going to do these video announcements every week. Usually just really short to go over what we have for the week ahead. And this one will probably be the longest because we're going to do a quick course intro and then look at the work that we have due this week. So I'm at the homepage of the Canvas course right now, and I want to highlight a couple things. One, recent announcements are going to be pinned at the top right here. I haven't posted anything yet, so there's nothing to see, but for these video announcements, that's going to be the easiest place for you guys to find them. If you scroll down on the home page, just a quick overview of the course. The syllabus goes into a lot more detail. Please check it out. It also goes over my AI policy. I do allow AI in this course, but you need to use it ethically, responsibly, and you need to cite it. So I run everything through an AI checker just to make sure you follow the 80-20 rule, right? 80% of your own writing, 20% using sources or AI sourced material. And then you do have to cite it. The how-tos and examples of how to do that are in the syllabus, so please check it out. Also on the homepage is this Zoom office hours link. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that and show you where it takes you. Just to my office hours information. So I'm on campus in person Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., Thursday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. I'm in the faculty wing, which is right next to the administration building, and I'm in office 3. But I'm also online. So every Tuesday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., I'll just hop online. Anybody can drop in if you have any questions. You get to that meeting by just pressing this Zoom link right here. None of this is required. This is just all if you have any questions about the course or if you need help with any of your assignments. You can also ask me questions by email. I'm super responsive. And then you can reply to any of these video announcements in Canvas. So I'll be checking all of that just to make sure you guys don't have any lingering questions that you need answered. Modules. I'm going to go to modules next. That's really where everything in our course lives. I know some of you guys like the calendar view, but please, for my class, use the modules. I promise it will make your life easier. The first module we have to look at is course information. And that's just, again, a brief overview of the course. What's important here is it outlines the due dates for our discussion boards. I'll remind you probably every week about that. Main posts are due on Fridays, and your reply is due by Sunday, okay? So the assignment actually has a Sunday due date, but your main post is due on Friday, and it's just open till Sunday for you guys to get your reply in. Um, so don't miss that Friday deadline. Uh, Take off a couple late points. You don't want to lose those points, okay? Next is one of our textbooks. This textbook is great for this course, but you do have to buy it. We do have some copies in Colinga and Firebaugh. It's not a requirement for the class. I just want to offer it to you guys in case you would like to. If you click next, everything you need to learn in this course will be in this textbook for the most part. You might have to go to Google if you don't buy the other textbook for a couple of things, but you click download here and the entire textbook is free for you guys. So I don't want to make you have to buy that other book, so I tried to keep everything in this book as much as I could. Next is that office hours information that I already showed you. It lives there in that top module, but you can always access it from the home page. And then I actually have a formative survey due this first week. It's due on Monday to Wednesday of the course. This asks you some information about yourself, your goals, some challenges or successes that you have in school. This just really helps me get to know you guys a little better, how I can best support you in this class. And then if you share with me your goals or your next steps, when I do these video announcements, I can talk about those things, right? You can kind of see how some of the course material relates to what you're doing in your life and your goals. So you can see yourself reflected in the content. So please share with me what you guys are planning to do next. Now we're into our week one overview. So I want to go back to modules just to show you the entire course follows this same format. You always have an overview, your readings, presentation, and then any assignments due. So back to that week one overview, the learning objectives for the week, what I'm hoping you'll get out of or what you need to get out of what we're doing as far as readings and PowerPoints and assignments, your readings, and then any deliverables you have, right? What are you turning in this week are those key activities. I try and make the reading as easy as I can for you. Again, I outline what you should be getting out of both of the books, even if you only end up using one. I also provide you with a key takeaway. All right. I don't expect you to read the book from like cover to cover, right? Chapter one all the way through. What I want you to do is come here first, look at the key takeaways, and then read enough in the chapters so that you understand the learning objectives for the week, right? This is what you should be getting out of our reading for week one. Next is our presentation for week one. You can actually scroll through it right here in Canvas, but if you see here, it doesn't always look really great uploaded into that small window. So I also give you a downloadable version here, makes it easier to read sometimes. If you do full screen on your computer, it usually makes it look a little better. So however you'd like to go through it. All right, and now we're into our assignments for the week. So on week one, we are actually going to look at how the US government influences business, right? What regulations are out there? What rules do businesses have to follow? How does the government offer support? Maybe through grants, some funding, right? And then what are some policies? Kind of the policies shape regulation, right? Think of policies as overarching rules, and regulations are the steps needed to make sure you're compliant with those rules. And then you need to connect those to real world examples and economic systems. These are the four questions that you need to answer to be able to meet that learning objective. And then if you're using an outside source, so please cite all your sources, even if you just give me a URL. One thing ChatGPT is great for is putting things into an APA format, MLA format. I prefer APA. You can always just drop the link, the URL in ChatGPT and say, hey, can you put this in an APA format? I would love that. That'd be great. Practice now. But I'll just take the URL if you can at least drop me that so I can make sure that you're getting what you need to out of the sources that you're using. I also give a word count for both your initial post and your reply. I'm going to tell you right now, if you answer all four questions fully, I'm not going to count your words, especially if you cite your source. Replying, please do not say, I agree and then repeat what they wrote in their post. I'm not going to give you credit for that. Ask them a question, one simple question about something that they said. Maybe comment on something that they said and drop a news article link of something that's happening real time that kind of relates to their opinion or what they were thinking. You're going to get full credit, even if you don't hit those 50 words. All right. I agree. You give me a long post, just repeating what they said, 0. 1 30-word question, full credit. All right. If you have any questions about this, please let me know. I'm happy to explain further. Also, on every single one of our assignments, I'm not going to go through them, but there's a rubric attached. So you're going to know exactly how you're going to get graded for each assignment. Okay. Every assignment has a rubric. We're going to be building a lot of graphics in this class. I like you guys to kind of apply your learning in what I think is a fun way. I like to grade these. So we're going to be mapping the circular flow of the economy. I want you to talk about how something that you've bought recently moved through the economy, right? What was the role of government there? How did it move through the product markets? Resource markets, what raw materials? Where did those raw materials come from? Who'd you actually buy it from? What were the businesses that sold your product? And then how did it end up ultimately to you? It's a visual diagram. I suggest that you use something like Canva or PowerPoint, makes it a little easier. And then I try and give you student examples. I know they're small, but you can actually zoom in. So this student actually outlined how the pair of boots they bought moved through the economy. And this next one here did a cup of coffee. How did their cup of coffee go through that circular diagram? Both of those were A assignments. I don't want you to forget that you need to include a short explanation, right? I want 150 to 200 words talking about how it impacts the broader economy. Think about like what labor markets did you support with your purchase? What industries did you support? That $5 cup of coffee supported a coffee farmer, maybe not even in our country, right? So have fun with it, get creative, and I can't wait to see what you guys have to say. Again, there's your rubric, every assignment. Next is we're going to look at economic systems. I want you to compare capitalism, socialism, mixed economy, and communism uh, in an infographic. So again, I don't want you to just type it out for me. Use Canva. They have templates, so you don't actually have to create it from scratch. You can just drop what you find in there. Cite your sources, please, whether it's our textbook or Google, ChatGPT. Remember, 80% has to be your own writing, 20% can be sourced material. So I want the definition for each one. What does it mean? Key characteristics, what sets it apart from the other systems, and at least one country example. That's going to be hard to find for some of these. There aren't a lot of countries, for instance, socialism, that say they are a socialist economy. A lot of people are using mixed economies now. But if you find one that has socialist principles, just highlight that. They use socialist principles in these areas. I will absolutely accept that. And then give me some pros and cons for each one. This is a great student example. Again, pretty simple, right? I don't need you to write me 10 paragraphs about the different economic systems. I just give a little bullet points, make it look nice in an infographic, and you'll be right on point. And that's how you're going to be graded, as always. All right, and that takes us through all of the assignments for week 1. I'm happy to be here with you guys. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions, and I'm excited to get started. All right, I'll see you next week.